What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. It is the night before Christmas, or the night before 2x drops, and I want to give you guys a quick update as well as give you an overall guide and just rundown on what's going to be happening, all the information you might need on how to best tackle this 2x event, which, by the way, was never planned and more of like I guess like compensation apology from Etheria. Even though it was never really promised, they decided to give it to us, and I can't be more excited. So let me go ahead and start by saying thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you up on what I have planned in store, as well as give you all the information, including things that people are wondering about. Is it going to be capped? Is there going to be packs during the event? What should you farm? We'll cover all of that in a nice, brief video. But let's go ahead and start, guys. So as you can see here, and this part of the plan was not quite planned 100%, but it kind of nicely evened out here. I'm 100 XP away from level 60, and as you guys, you should know that whenever you level, you do get 100 extra stamina. So I've already begun the kind of overall plan. Take note of that. I have this capped out. I think by the time you guys are watching this, or at the time of recording this, I think we're about 7 hours out from the 2x event, and that should time us nicely to get into this 180 179 stamina range. You get one stamina every 5 minutes, and so we've kind of calculated it that if I don't spend anything here, I'm going to cap out by the time the reset comes around. And why is that important? It's because I plan, and listen, before I begin, let me just say, guys, none of y'all have to go this far. Honestly, it's a little crazy to go this far for a video game, but I've been enjoying Etheria so much that I don't mind for, the next weekend, and my wife has graciously been okay that I'm going to no life this weekend on farming, that I'm taking every possible opportunity to maximize this event. I'm going to give you guys some tips, and as long as you do some kind of farming during this the Saturday, Sunday, hey, you're going to be super advantageously in a position over people not farming. And that's all that really matters. If you want to follow along and really min-max, be my guest as well. It's really up to how you guys want to take it. I'm just going to give you guys some info. So I plan to refresh our energy here. So you get, 10 Hydra Crystal refreshes a day. Right before reset, we're going to max this out. And then right as reset hits, we're going to max out again. That's going to give us, the extra 1,000 that we're going to stack into the event. And we'll be leading off with 2,000. And then we have 65 stabilizers here, which I'm going to tell you guys a few other ways. I'll showcase a few ways to get those for today as well as tomorrow, but take note of that as well. So we're gonna maximize those gains. One last thing is I was talking about this quest here, so I'm holding off on this quest. This daily is going to lead us into that cap, which we're going to do right before reset, and a lot of this is just to make sure we don't overcap and still getting our natural energy regen. Additionally, let's see, we talked about that in the Union. We're also not going to do our check-in yet, guys. Right before reset, we will do our check-in again, and that's going to give us another 100 energy. So you don't have to do any of this, but if you guys want to follow along, if you haven't done some of these dailies, go ahead and feel free to kind of, min-max and get that little bit of extra stamina energy. Once again, I know this is a lot. Don't feel the need to do this. Don't feel pressured. As long as you farm during this 2x event in one of the modes I'm going to tell you about, you'll be just fine. Now, additional ways before we begin into the actual tips and tricks for all this stuff, at least informational portion, I do want to highlight a few other ways to get some free stabilizers in the Chaku Ring event, guys. If you haven't already, there's going to be 2 that you can claim pretty early on here. If you played yesterday and today, you should be able to get that. If you missed the day, you'll get it by tomorrow more than likely. And additionally, there are extra ways to get stabilizers through this treasure trove box. It's going to be RNG. If you ever land on this shop, you can get a chance at the vendor will sell 1 of 3 items. One of those could be a stabilizer as well. And don't forget that these dice, you can make sure it's going to let you pick an automatic square or a circle. Go ahead and pick this one and try to get lucky with that. That's just one other way. If you also didn't know, there's a current event going on. I think that's under challenges. Our Cyber Shadows game. This one might take a little luck. You might need a good union, good guild. If you guys want to stop by my streams, I had a lot of the chat kind of trading around. But if you look at your own meme hunt, you will see that there are stabilizers to be had. I'm one off here, and I think someone in my chat today said they could hold on to a 3 fire, and I told them, hey, thank you so much. I'll try to save something for you. And then I need 1 T-mat that hopefully we can get tomorrow, either ourselves or maybe trade for it. Extra stabilizers as well, and I did actually claim one of the C rank ones too. So just some ways you can kind of hunt and get a few extra stabilizers. And then now let's go ahead and talk about what we need to farm. So let's go ahead and take a look again at the Discord. where they announced this. Remember once again that this is kind of like it's kind of a reward for us. This wasn't actually originally planned, but they're talking about, they got a lot of feedback, so they're giving us this 2x event. I don't know if they're going to run this again in the future anytime soon. I don't think they were planning to run this period, at least for a while. But yeah, they're going to bring it to us, so let's take full advantage. Remember too, it's going to be investigation. We're going to talk about this, threshold, and GPO outpost. I'm going to go into all three of these, tell you which ones to farm, when, and depending on your count and all that. They will have double drop rates, so keep this in mind. It's double drop rates for everything. If it's the same way it ran previously in the beta, that means double the coins, double the shadow prints. If you're running investigation, summons can drop there too. I'll cover that in a bit, as well as double module drops in the threshold, and then of course all the prowess materials. So very, very strong, very overpowered event. And one other thing, it's not in this actual announcement, but in case you might see some people talking about it, I know in other games, what is it, like Wuthering Waves, for example, some of the Hoyo games, they actually cap you on special events. You can only do like a limit of X amount of refreshes, 10 refreshes. There is no cap in this 2x drop event. So if you stored a lot of energy like myself, if you plan to play a lot, take full advantage. We're going to be able to go crazy with this. There is no cap. The devs have officially stated that. Now, one last thing I want to mention before we jump into, the 3 different modes, and I guide you on maybe which ones you should be looking at mostly. There is going to be a pack. Thank you to our Asia and European viewers. They were actually showed this to us live when it was shown on the server. What was that? Maybe 6 hours ago as of recording. There will actually be some packs available. Now, this doesn't mean you need to whale out. If you're free to play, stay free to play. But there's actually one here for 200 gems. And effectively, right, this kind of equates to the equal value, but then you get some 50,000 coins. And on top of that, this will count as 2 extra refreshes. Remember, you can only spend up to 10 refreshes a day via Hydra Gems. So this is actually a really good pack. Don't just think it's 2 for the, the price of this. It's actually even more value. These as well are going to be for monetary purchase, but don't buy it if you don't need to. If you don't mind spending a little bit, I think you should take full advantage. I'm not trying to pressure anyone to spend. I'm also not pressuring anybody to not spend, right? It's all up to you. It's all relevant. No need to judge or tell other people if you're spending or not spending. Hey, that's all up to each individual's preference. But just so we're clear, I'm definitely going to be picking these up and going crazy. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into the different modes. Remember, there's no shell drop. Unfortunately, it would be insane if we could actually get some double shells. That might be the #1 biggest increase of power account level, would probably be shell drops. But yeah, we're not going to get those. So instead, just focus on modules, Animus XP, and prowess material. Let's save module drops for last, because that one might be the most complicated. Every single one of y'all watching, no matter how new you are, should spend some time this weekend in Animus XP and prowess material, especially if you're lower level and cannot farm higher level module drops. All right, I'll cover that in just a second. Let's go and start with the Animus XP. Try to farm, the highest level you can, guys, whatever that might be. Try to hustle, finish the game if you're a little bit newer, and get to the highest difficulty. It's really not that hard. You may not get to it, so just farm whatever the highest possible difficulty you can farm comfortably and spend a lot of time there. So, of course, you get the investigation records, which will level our characters, and that's very good. You will also get shadow prints, which is really good, especially if we consider that these will now drop at 2 times the drop rate. Now, additionally, and it's not listed here, you actually can get the purple summons, guys. These right here, these anima prototypes. I don't know why it's not listed, but it 100% does drop unless something funky happens. We've seen these drop here, and those will also be doubled if the event follows the same path as it did in beta. Okay, so heads up. This investigation could be insanely huge. We want to build a ton of characters just in general for PvE progression. But those of you that maybe are venturing into things like the Union Wars, right? If you watch my video, the Union Front, the United Front Union Wars, you need like up to 15 on the attack. You need up to 9 characters on defense, or up to 12 if they place you in a special tower. So this is a great time to capitalize and get a ton of resources to build more units, including the shadow prints, and then additionally get a nice little, those little summon, those purple anima prototypes to summon more characters as well. Very, very big. If you don't know what else to farm, investigation is one of the highest returns on your investment for energy spent. So keep an eye on this one and understand there's extra drops there. Now moving on to prowess materials. This one may not be as juicy on paper as the investigation, as the drops are simply, just the what do we call these? The prowess materials and advanced anima imprints for reason. I'm just going to call them, red, blue, green, light, and dark. Now, once again, just like the investigation, guys, just farm as far as you can, whatever difficulty that may be. and spend plenty of time in here. This is also one, if you can't farm super high thresholds, like let's say Hell 3, Hell 4, Inferno, go ahead and spend a lot of time in here as well while you're doing other stuff. Really just spend a lot in farm, because you're always going to need these. These are, you know, the upgrades you use for every single character in the game, and you never know. I would go ahead and just stockpile a healthy amount for every single element, even if it's a, you know, an element that you aren't playing at the moment. Because trust me, once again, just like you need to build a bunch of characters in the investigation, we're going to want a lot of stuff here, and might as well start farming now when we get double our drop rate, right? Double our investment. If you farm this now instead of farming it, you know, on Monday, we are doubling our effective returns. So yeah, I think that's enough said with the GP outpost. Very, very good. Farm this a ton. So that's already gives us 2 main areas to just spend a lot of time in and get double the drops. That's going to include the Etheria coins and whatever else you get along the way, right? Not just the possible drops listed in the table. Now, last but not least, and this one's a little tricky. So if you can stop by the stream and you can tell me about like how far you can go, how solid are your runs? Is it Hell 3? Is it Hell 4? Is it Inferno? Is it consistent? How long do we take? Because if you guys look at this, for some Inferno runs, right? If we take a look at like recent clears, you know, some of these Tiamat runs can go up to 12 minutes. Shout out to my guildmate right here. That's Grills. 14 minutes on this guy's run. We don't want to be probably farming something like that. Yeah. Instead, if we maybe do something Doki, I think Doki is probably the easiest Inferno to farm reliably. I know a lot of y'all there, at least in Hell 4, Hell 3, probably. And then especially some of us are in Inferno, clearing anywhere from 1 minute to, you know, up to 4. I think in that range, it's kind of comfortable. Anything pushing like 5 and up, if you have a ton of stamina, a ton of energy, we might struggle to get all of that done. So my suggestion for those of you that are able to reach, you know, Doki, maybe even Teramaton, just keep in mind Inferno Teramaton probably will have to manual. I do have an auto guide for this, but it might not be 100% consistent unless your gear is like way better than mine. It's a little bit difficult on the gear requirements. But the Doki Inferno, guys, I think a lot of y'all have a team set up, you know, your Shiata, your Omoka, whatever it might be. Anywhere from like a 1 minute to 4 minute run. And as long as it's decently consistent, I think this is a great place to farm. So my suggestion, actually, if you have a ton of energy like myself, is pick whichever, you know, threshold to farm, whichever is most consistent and quick. Doki, I think, is going to be the best overall if you're not sure, especially because we can get these very powerful Swift Rush sets. Trust me, in the beginning of the game, guys, remember, in turn-based games, speed is king. And this is coming from a tanky turn 2 bruiser player. Eventually, I'm going to move away from speed, but right now, and almost always, you're going to need some units at least on speed. And those you like to play fast, that like to cleave, you know, this is your set. So in general, not being only the easiest, but also having very nice speed sets, I think just park your butt in Doki. And my suggestion, last but not least, is, you know, pick either investigation, GP outpost, probably both. Farm a lot in there in the background, because that's very easy and reliable. And then in the foreground, remember, we can set something up in continuous battle here. You know, we hit the continuous battle button, do 10 runs in the background, and then we can also farm our Doki or Teramaton in the front on our main screen. And that's going to help you dump a lot of stamina. And yeah, I think those are the tips. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Remember, don't think too hard. You don't need to do all these crazy min-maxing that I'm doing. Just in general, take advantage, full advantage of this weekend. Try to grab a bunch of stabilizers and enjoy, all right? No one get upset if you didn't save stamina, if you used everything. And no one get upset at others if we're just, you know, min-maxing the crap out of this event. Just play at your own pace, do whatever you need to do, and just take advantage, play somewhat this weekend, and farm those 3 modes. That's all I want to leave you with. And let's wrap things up there. Thanks so much, guys. I'll be streaming all day during this event and the following day, so come stop by and say hi. Thank you again. Peace out, everybody.